Hello, everybody. I did it again. I don't know how to use StreamYard apparently. And so I just did my whole presentation to myself. But you know what? That's okay, because for any of you that are here and are ready to watch, thank you for hanging out with me. Thank you. Thank you. I apologize for being late. I will figure this out, but you know what? This is okay. This is a perfect example of how things happen and we rebound from them. So the good news is I already did this presentation once for myself, and now I know I can do it perfectly for you or do it well for you. Okay, so welcome to How to Doubt Your Doubt. I am Jen Lafine. I am a success mentor for entrepreneurs who struggle with doubt, and that doubt is keeping them from achieving their goals. Okay, so I want to thank you for being with me today. I want to thank you for your patience as I figure out all of the technology. Next time, I'm going to nail this and I'm going to be ready to roll right away. So thank you so much. Thank you, Joshua. I appreciate that. So let's talk about doubt, my friends, because it is a fascinating topic that I absolutely, absolutely love supporting people with and helping them with. And one of the things that I want you to realize or want you to know is that everybody experiences doubt, okay? When I used to, before I started doing this work, I would be doing something hard, doing something challenging, maybe going for a goal, and I would start to get doubt thoughts in my head about how I didn't know what I was doing or it wasn't going to work. And I thought that because that thought came from my brain, that it meant that it was true. Okay. And I'm thinking maybe some of you might as well. But here's the thing. Just because it comes from your brain does not mean that it's true. And I'm going to tell you oh, I think you can see and hear me. Can you guys see and hear me? I think. Okay. Thank you, Joshua. Thank you, Joshua. All right. So the thing that I want you to remember is that thoughts that come from your mind are not necessarily the truth. The second thing I want you to know is you're not the only one who thinks these things. And that was the other thing that I believed, is that these kinds of things only happen to me. Thank you, Kinga. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Joshua. Thank you, Tina. Good to see you all this morning. It's going to be a great day. So we all experience doubt. And what I've seen is that doubt is a dream killer. It clearly kills more dreams. So what exactly is doubt? Doubt are those thoughts and sentences and feelings that our primal brain tries to send us as a way of keeping us from moving forward out of our comfort cave. All right. That primal brain is that ancient part of our brain that wants to keep us, it wants three things. It wants to keep us safe, it wants to keep us alive, and it wants to keep us lazy. And a way that it does that is by sending us those thoughts and feelings, including doubt, that keep us safe, that keep us from moving ourselves forward. And doubt is like that vehicle that it does it. Now, doubt is really, really sneaky in that most of the time, like I had said, we think that when we experience a doubt thought, we think that's coming from our own head and that we give it more credibility than it really, really deserves. The other problem is we've been listening to those doubt thoughts our whole entire life, and it's really, really getting hard to recognize them. So at the end of this broadcast, I'm going to teach you how I locate my doubt thoughts, a strategy I use involving journaling that maybe will help you as well. So when you experience one of these doubt thoughts that we're going to talk about here in just a second, you have a choice. One, you can let it stop you. You can let it pull you back to your comfort cave, okay? Or you can look at it as a signal that you are doing something new. Now, I don't know about you, but it feels a heck of a lot better for me when I just take it as a signal that I'm doing something new or I'm doing something that is leading to my growth. Okay. Doubt does not have to mean anything. Doubt can be very neutral. Those words that it's telling you or that feeling that it's telling you can be very, very neutral. Okay. It's our experience and our history and our conditioning and our habits that we have developed that assign this heavy, heavy priority of meaning to doubt. Okay. But in the end, I want you to consider, in the end, you are the one who is ultimately responsible for your success. You are the one that gets to decide how far you're going and how you're going to get there. If you let doubt drive your car, you are not going to be leaving your comfort cave. But the good news is that you don't have to let doubt drive the car. You don't have to let doubt make your decisions. And I'm going to teach you how to take back that control here in just a second. And the other thing that I wanted to mention is if you have any questions, please feel free to throw them in the chat and I will be happy to get to those. So what are those 2 questions you can ask your doubt when one of those thoughts comes up that are trying to stop you and pull you backwards? There's 2 questions that I always ask myself. One is this true? And the second one is, does this support the direction I'm trying to go? So is it helpful? Okay, those are the 2 questions. Is it true? Does it support the direction I'm trying to go? Now, when I was working on an offer, a new offer that I had, I kept a piece of paper next to me and I wrote down the doubt thoughts as they came up. And I knew that because I was doing something new and doing something hard, that it was going to be like a prime place for doubt to rear its ugly head. Okay, so I kept that piece of paper there and I just kind of took some notes as I was listening or as I was working. So I think you're going to see some of my thoughts maybe similar to your doubt thoughts. And that's good news because I want you to understand these are all very common. These are all very, very common. And just because you're hearing them does not mean you're the only one. Okay, so the first doubt thought that I experienced when I was working on my new offer was the thought, this won't work. And I heard that thought in the back of my head as I was working. It whispered to me, this isn't going to work. Okay. So looking at that doubt thought, I asked 2 questions. Is it true? I have no idea if it's going to work, right? But I know what's not going to work is if I don't do it at all, right? That's a guarantee for failure, right? So I decided to reject that. And then the second one, this is not going to work. Does that support the direction I want to go? No, because my growth depends on me taking intentional action, right? And putting things out into the world. So telling myself that this won't work is going to do nothing other than get me to stop. So I right away was able to reject that and did not have to accept that as something that I was willing to let make decisions for me. The second thought is no one will want this. No one will want this. Okay. And you may have heard a variation of that at some point. Very, very common thought because that like hits you at your point of worthiness. Because if you put your heart and soul into creating something and it flops because nobody accepts it, we are so awesome at making that mean something about us personally that we are almost guaranteed to never take that chance again, right? So that question, no one will want this. Is it true? No, I knew that wasn't true because I have had conversations with people, with you all here on LinkedIn, and had very good response to the content I'm putting out there. There's no reason why this offer that I was created wouldn't be wanted. And that thought, no one will want this, does that support me? No, it doesn't. So again, I rejected that as a thought that I was not going to let drive my car. The next one is a very, very common one, and that is, what will people think? What will others think? That one hit me, and I'm sure it hits a lot of you too, because that hits on imposter syndrome for me also. What are other people going to think about you doing this? Okay. I was raised with the messaging from my family and from my education. And maybe some of you have heard this phrase before. Maybe you have a variation, but that is, don't get too big for your britches. I was constantly told, Jennifer, don't get too big for your britches. Don't stand in the spotlight. Don't draw attention to yourself. And most certainly, don't try to outshine anybody, especially the boys. Okay, that was the messaging that I received. So my doubt knows that, and it knows that what will people think is a great question to ask me, because I've been conditioned to make that be like, oh yes, that's right. I shouldn't stand in the spotlight. I should stop and stay here in my comfort cave. But asking those two questions, is it true? Well, I don't know what people are going to think. But if I don't put an offer out there, they can't think anything about it, right? And then does it support me? No, it does not support me. So I let I let that doubt thought go. All right. The fourth doubt thought I had is also very common. You don't know what you're doing. You don't know what you're doing. And how many times have you been trying to do something and you hear the thought, I don't know what I'm doing. I should just quit. And what I tell my clients when they say to me, I don't know how to do this, one of the things I tell them is, you know how to ask a question to Google. And as long as you can do that, in this day and age, there are plentiful answers for you, plentiful resources to help you figure anything out. Okay. Finally, number 5, and this is a big one, and I'm sure many of you hear this as well. You're wasting your time. Okay, you're wasting your time. Here, I noticed it's almost like my doubt started very broad with this won't work, and then it gets very almost desperate. You're wasting your time. Okay. Am I wasting my time? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So again, these are 5 doubt thoughts that came up for me when I was working on something new and something hard and something outside my comfort cave that could have stopped me at any point. It could have stopped me. I could have given in and I could have stopped and I could have stayed in my comfort cave. But instead, I made a choice not to listen to the doubt. Okay. And just like the choice is mine, the choice is also yours. When you start to hear some of those doubt thoughts, the choice is yours if you want to choose to believe them or choose to plow ahead anyways. Asking those 2 questions, is this true? And does this support me? It are great questions to ask yourself to evaluate the validity of what your brain is trying to tell you. Because remember, your primal brain is going to tell you and make you feel things, whatever it needs to do to keep you from moving forward. That's its job. It's very natural. It's biological. But as a rational human being, you have the power to be like, wait a minute. I don't think this is working for me. Okay. So remember, you are in charge of your success. You are in charge of your growth. Doubt is a natural part of the journey. Okay. You get to decide, are you going to let it drive your car? Or are you going to tell it just to get in the back seat? Now, before we wrap up today, I wanted to share with you one of the ways that I find it easiest to identify my doubt is to become a thought watcher. And to do that, I like to do this in my journal. And to me, I'll get out my journal and I'll grab a colored pen and I'll write what I believe my doubt thoughts are. So I'll write the thought, this won't work, if that is what I think I heard. It takes getting still and it takes getting curious and being able to just kind of suspend your judgment about what you're noticing going on in your brain. If you can do those things, you're going to be able to hear your doubt thoughts a lot easier. Also, please keep in mind that you've been listening to these doubt thoughts for your whole entire life. So hearing them and being able to separate them from your truth versus what you're choosing to believe, it's going to take time and it's going to take practice. But if you don't start somewhere, you're not going to figure it out. So sit down with your journal or a piece of paper and write out, what do you think? Like, what are you telling yourself about what you're doing that's causing you to feel icky or hesitation or wanting to stop? What exactly are those thoughts? write them down. Okay. And then what I do is I grab another color ink, which by the way, these are InkJoy gel pens. They're amazing and they come in a bazillion colors. I highly recommend them. So doubt in one thought. With the other color, I want you to answer that doubt thought. I want you to ask those two questions. Is it true? Does it support the direction I'm going? If you want to add a third step in, one of the things that you can do is, what would my best friend tell me about this? What would my higher authority tell me about this? What would my guardian angels tell me to do about this? Okay. And being able to shift that perspective is a great way to be able to kind of weed through those doubt thoughts as well. So I hope you enjoyed this little abbreviated session on how to doubt your doubt and take back control of your success. That offer that I was talking about is out there. It is available. It is called the Back on Track Workshop. And I've had several people go through it already and they have loved it. And I am so excited to do this work with them and help them overcome that doubt of doing the things that have been holding them back. I have 2 sessions in August, and I'll put in the chat here the information if you want to check it out. It's just $99. It's a 2-hour workshop where you go live with me. What we do is we take a look at your goal that you're trying to work on this year, maybe look at some of those things that have kept you from making progress on it, and then make a plan to help you get back on track. So it's a great time to just spend 2 hours with me, talking about growth, talking about goals, talking about intentional action. I love, love, love to see you there. So information on that is at jenlafine.com/backontrack. I'd love to see you there. All right, my friends, that's it for this time. I promise you when I do this again, I'm going to get the technology figured out. Thank you for being here, friends. Have a great rest of your day.